Hello, TPS families. I'm Mr. Simon, and this is my boy Isaac, and welcome to another edition of Growing in the Garden with Global Gardens. Last week, Miss Kristen talked to you guys about some ideas for how to start plants at home, using some scraps you might have in your own kitchen. This week, we're going to be talking about mindfulness in the garden. So when we think about being mindful of plants, it's kind of the same thing as being mindful of other people. Just like people, each plant is a little bit different. They have different characteristics, they can even look different, and different needs for growing. So take these tomato plants, for example. Tomato plants are very thirsty. They're going to need a lot of water to grow as big as they can be. Now look at these nasturtium seeds that I just started a few weeks ago. Their roots have not gone down very deep yet. So we don't really need to worry about watering super deep into the soil, just at the surface. One of the most important and most rewarding parts about gardening is really just paying attention and listening to your plants. Go out to your garden as often as you can and just really look at your plants. What are their leaves telling you? If you see a leaf that's drooping or changing color or not firm, something may be wrong. It might need water, or there might be a bug eating it. One thing I love to do in the garden is just really going out and getting my hands in the dirt. Something about having the dirt on my hands connects me to what's going on with my plants. And it can be a great way to find some of the weeds that are trying to take the space that you want your plants to have. So, get some dirt in your hand, feel it. I don't know if you can see that, but the dirt, the soil stuck to my finger. So that's telling me this soil is still moist underneath and I do not need to water today. That's the best way to know if the soil is wet or if your plants are going to need to be watered. But always check first. Don't just assume that your plants need to be watered unless you see a sign. Their leaves are drooping or the dirt is actually really dry. And you can know that by putting your hands in. Today I'm going to show you a way to make your own homemade watering can using materials you probably have around your own house. It's going to be a sprinkler head watering can. That way, when you water your plants, the way the water falls will mimic the rain, which is a plant's favorite way to be watered. Here's what you're going to need. You can find any plastic container with a lid at your house.
Even this giant heavy.
Isn't that huge? So we have some water containers, a water bottle. We even have a plastic cup. That doesn't even have a lid. And a paper bowl. Okay. It's going to work though. So one of the common misconceptions about watering is that you can just do this. Oh man, look at that. Now you'll notice when I did that, I made holes in my soil. Can you imagine being a little tiny seed in this mess? I might even have, with the force of the water, taken you up from the ground and left you on the surface for a bird to eat. A plant's favorite way to be watered is by the rain. And think about how the rain falls. It falls gently and in little tiny drops. So all you're gonna need to do is find a tack. These are the same kind of tacks you use to post something on a bulletin board. All we're gonna do is use our tacks to poke some little holes, as many as we can, in the lids of our plastic containers. Here we go. If you use a plastic cup, you'll want to make your holes in the bottom. It actually makes a really cool sound too. Likewise, if you're using a paper plate, same thing. Put your holes right in the bottom and make as many as you can.
How about this?
As you can see, or can't see, we made as many holes as we could, and you can experiment. So if there's not enough water coming out, just put more holes. And if there's too much, you might need to start over. But I don't really think you can put enough holes on top. Here we go, let's try it. Look at that. Now you're gonna wanna water gently, so don't squeeze too hard. Remember, the rain falls gently on the ground. Let's see how it works with these plants. Here we go. Oh yeah. It almost looks like it's raining. Hold it up a little more so I can see what the water does. There you go. Here we go. Oh, look at that.
That's That's how we should do it.
It's almost like a rain cloud. That's amazing.
That's how we should do it.
Yeah. Using the plastic cup or the paper bowl and letting gravity take the water down can be great for seeds or new sprouts. That way you don't have to worry about squeezing too hard and hurting them. Something else that's important if you're going to be mindful of your plants is to not water during the day when it's super hot. Water reflects the light and can heat up the leaves on your plant, and it can actually burn them. So the best times to water your plants outside are going to be in the early morning or in the evening when the heat of the day has lowered. Thanks for joining me today, and tune in next week for another edition of Growing in the Garden with Global Gardens. See you then.